Sometimes we're in such a flow, the images keep coming, shapes start evolving. I felt like that during the weeks I worked on these 3 large pieces. I intentionally started them on the wall to not make them precious, but unintentionally they started becoming the favorite thing I worked on in a long while. One of my New Year's resolutions was to go to more life drawing classes to really up that skill and get my own handwriting in there again. And that's been working so far. So these drawings are now available in my online shop if you want to check them out. And I'm looking forward to joining a lot more of those sessions. Hello, I painted yesterday without the camera on because I felt like I needed it. I first wanted to make a full sketch of my green canvas, but that felt too difficult, so I did something easy and focused on this work. I painted the background, so a little part of the background, because I really like the hues at the moment, and I felt like I didn't feel like introducing a new color yet because I like the hues at the moment. So it's going to be different, but I need some time to adjust. So for now, I just painted the sky. And the skies that you see are actually photos I took from photos I took myself from a hiking trip. I believe this was Sweden. It could also be Scotland. I'm not entirely sure anymore. Because my process works that I kind of see what images capture my eye, and then I enhance them or recolor them, and the files just get printed and painted over, and then it gets on this big board that I have upstairs, so it can combine elements into paintings. And I don't know what the original source was anymore, so they're always my own pictures, though. I cherish every hiking trip that I had, so just a little background on the sky. I've actually never painted sky before at this size. I've done like tiny studies last year, which was, I think, the first time I painted sky. And that was also the time that I realized, like, oh, I want to include that. Because my figures are almost always inside, and this whole series felt like it needed a bit more outside elements. That's how the sky got in there. I really love how big it is, and which I think I always say that I love how big it is. And I'm excited to see how, if I'm gonna make this a sort of icy cold skin color, if it's going to be nice, if this is also going to be pink, or if I maybe should keep it in this hue, because I really love this tone, like the yellow, the dirty yellow, it really works for me. And the earthy tones here as well, it's like a new color palette for me, even though it might be a very neutral color palette. I don't really work that neutral. I want to make this super black though. Like it has a lot of depth now. I want to keep that, but make it super black and have this be light, maybe in the same tones though, because my reference is a bit colder and this can be really dark. It's nice feeling painting that is half dry. Sometimes I put my hand on paintings or my finger and it's like, oh, that's not dry yet. Shit. Oh well. Anyway, I'm gonna wait with this until this is dried a little bit, and today I'm gonna focus on the sketch that I thought was too difficult yesterday. Hello. I think I'm done with the underpainting. And I'm gonna take a lunch break because painting makes me tired and it's lunchtime. So this is it. And I will see you soon. I filmed this in February, and around this time I got the opportunity to very last minute join an art fair. This art fair has since passed, and I made this video about it, what mistakes I made and what I liked about it. But deciding that I wanted to join this art fair kind of pushed everything to the side and made me to having to frame some last minute pieces, order a lot of flyers, business cards, etc. I even made a table, a side table. I didn't say it was a good table, but I did make a table to bring along with me to the fair. So all the painting that I was working on that I thought I was gonna work on during this time, kind of a good push to decide to work on this fair. I was going to paint this frame again, so it's an even color, But now that I put it next to it, I actually really like the imperfections and how it's sanded down almost halfway. So I think I'm going to keep it this way. I also ordered a bunch of flyers. This is one of the 4 piles. So it has my art on the front, and then on the back there's a little bit of text about me and what I do. And if you scan the QR code, you go to my newsletter, because that's where I want people to go. My website is on there as well, and my Instagram. And I just wanted something different than the usual business cards, because all my information is on there. And I don't mind a lot of people having my personal number, but it does feel a little strange to give it out to complete strangers. So I think this is a little bit better. And if I am talking to someone, I can just write my number on there, or my email address, or whatever. You can find that all on my website. But it's just one more step. I had hoped I would have been a little bit thicker. I would have hoped them to be like twice the thickness. But, you know, it's something people take with them. Maybe they keep it on their fridge or whatever, on their desk. And then at some point it's going to come out anyway. I am happy with the printing quality. It's just not the thickness that I wanted, but oh well, I should have checked better. This was really cheap as well to print, so I'm not too bothered by it. Seeing the design of the fair where I was joining, I realized that there was quite some space underneath the paintings that I had, so I wanted to make something custom to take with me. And I had this idea suddenly to use a bit of scrap wood that we still had from our house renovation, and make a table that you can slide into each other, so you can still transport it easily, and then paint my own design on it. Now, I'm not a woodworker. I'm not a big fan of power equipment, but I did it anyway. This is the first time I think I ever used a track saw and made these little lines that stopped halfway through the wood. I used MDF. It's not the best for paint, so the paint didn't catch in an amazing way. I also didn't prime it that well because I didn't really have the time. Which is what I meant by saying this is not a great table, but did a job. It looked custom. Someone actually wanted to buy it. I told them no, because it's not amazing. But it was a fun project, and I think it added something to my stand, to the fair. I would have definitely done it differently next time, but it still looked fun and a bit whimsical, and it's the first project I ever did, so, you know, had its goal, had its purpose. This is how it ended up looking. I completely forgot to film how it looked because I had so much stuff to do, so excuse me for just the photos. It was a very busy event, and if you want to see more of the experience, watch the video about the fair or go to my Instagram where I posted a bunch of things about it, but just in short format. So this painting is completely dry now, and I want to work on the silky fabric. I'm not entirely sure what I want to do yet because I'm leaning towards more of a pattern. So it sets off the difference between the pink fabric and the skin a little bit more. Or I'm going into the full silky fabric direction and make it a lot lighter. I'm gonna think on this, but let me take you to my palette first. Is eigenlijk deze. So this is what kind of always happens whenever I'm working from reference and there's this really clear part, like a silk fabric. My brain is like, that's boring. I'm gonna put some shadow here and some highlights there, and then suddenly it is not the reference anymore and I'm left with something that I completely made up. I do like it though. I think it's fine. It's just that the light is inconsistent. But I guess that's what a painting is for. You make up your own things. I am going to try to copy the same colors to the other part of the silk fabric, so at least that's consistent. And then I'm going to think if I want to add like lines or a raster or anything else or a pattern or something. I was really not happy with the face. Something was wrong in the proportions, even though I exaggerate those proportions. So I painted over some important parts, and I'm still not quite happy with how it turned out in this video, but I think I've found a sort of solution to the face so far. Okay. Okay, that is it for today. I had some leftover white purple-ish, so I figured why not use it for the areas that I know are going to use the same colors, which led me to finishing like one underpainting of a face and the other one like the complete hair. I'm gonna go over those, but you know, it's nice to have like these layers in there, and I also don't really know how to continue the painting on the left yet. I think the orange tape is very distracting for me right now, so the next step would be to actually stretch it on stretcher bars so I can move it around and see how it looks in different light, and then I might as well stretch the other ones as well. But yeah, overall pretty productive day of painting. I usually paint maximum about 4 hours per day because that's when things get blurry. I don't really know what I see anymore. Yeah, and that's now. So I'm gonna wash my brushes and come back tomorrow. Good morning. It is a beautiful day out. It's super sunny. I know it doesn't seem from the comfy sweater, but I have a little bit of a sore throat. So I'm taking some precautions. Yesterday I had a live illustration gig in my hometown. It was walking distance, which is, you don't know. It's either in Amsterdam, which is still pretty close, but especially at night, it takes you at least like 1.5 hours to get back. And now it was just 20 minutes walking and then 20 minutes back. Give me like 10 of those evenings. It was a corporate event. So it was a 3-day event, and then at night they had like entertainment and stuff, which seemed pretty intense because they started at like 8 and then went on until 1 in the morning. But anyway, not my not my event. I was there for 3 hours and I illustrated like over 20 people. It was actually really nice. I expected a lot of suits and shirts. I'm black, so I brought a lot of materials that could cover those things, so I could kind of switch it up to keep it interesting in the drawings, but also for myself, so I don't keep copying the same thing. And it was nice. I left at the right time, and I went home, and then I couldn't sleep, so I slept absolutely terrible. But we're in the studio. I didn't bring my laptop on purpose because I don't want any distractions, because yesterday it felt really good to paint. So I want to keep doing that today, and I think move over to the next painting and see if I can get kind of like the first layers going, because I'm a little bit scared of continuing because I like the underpainting. But I know it can be even better when I work on it even more. And then in the afternoon, 2 friends of mine are coming by, so that's nice. So it's painting and then friends coming over. I don't know if I mentioned it, but the studio has a new assistant. I am not standing on barrels anymore. I am actually standing on a proper stool. I mean, I can get pretty high on this thing, and it feels super stable. It's a step from my dad, or it used to be from my dad, and I found it, and I was like, this is coming with me to the studio. It even has wheels. I only now just see that it has wheels, so I can, does it work like this? Yeah, it works like this. Way better working circumstances, I think, from now on. Yeah. I keep being surprised how good the brush soap / conditioner is that I have. This brush, I forgot to wash it, or I washed it but I didn't wash it well, and now it's soft. Why? How? How does it work? I don't know, but if I just wash it with soap, it's not this soft, and I need it to be soft, because otherwise I can't do the gradients. That stuff is great. Okay. So I am taking a little break. I really love how soft everything looks. I am not disappointed about the results. Like, I'm happy that it continued from the underpainting because I actually like it. The tattoo, I was doubting, should I put it in, because I felt that the folds of the skin looked really nice and they looked really layered. But then I thought, you know, I do really want to add it in because the other tattoos are definitely going to go in there as well. And this way, I do think it sets it apart instead of being just like this big fleshy shape. I've done a few tattoo paintings, but not like this. Like this one is like, has all the tattoos. I did remove one tattoo though, because you can barely see it, and I don't think it adds a lot. But I did keep this one, the big one. And then I also tried to add in some skin structures. I might do that in another layer again, just because this has like the beauty marks and the, I don't know the word in English, like stretch marks and stuff. And I want to add those in, but I've never painted stretch marks, so it's so subtle, it's so tiny that I kind of have to be careful that they're not just going to be like tiger stripes. So I added in some subtle ones, and I'm probably going to do that in another layer once this is dry, so it doesn't mix with everything else. But yeah, I think I'm just going to call it a day for the painting, read my book in the sun, meet my friends, have some lunch, and then come back to this probably tomorrow because I'm on a roll.